Step 3. What's the verb? Made. What does it mean to make something? When we make something, we create something that didn't exist before. We take some stuff and we create some different stuff that looks different. We take raw materials out of the ground, we put it together, we create an iPhone that we do a video on. It's a longer, more complicated thing than just that, but that's what we do. We take some stuff and we make other stuff out of it. Now, made not only applies to things that we make in the physical world, but things that we make up here. Because in our mind and in our spirit, we make decisions. This is the thing that we make here, creating something that didn't exist before, a decision. So let's think about what a decision is. So back on October 27, 1981, when I was back here in the dark, empty chair of life, I decided I'm never going to drink again, I'm never going to smoke again, I'm never going to use again. All the pills and the coke were out of my life, and I thought all the alcohol and pot was out of my life. But a little while later, I was using again. I struggled with alcohol and pot for about 12 years before I figured out how to stay over here clean and sober. But the question is now, as I look back on my life, did I actually make a decision on October 27, 1981 to quit using alcohol and pot forever? I thought I did, but I really didn't. The only way we know if we actually made a decision or not is in retrospect. Apparently the decision that I made then, which I thought was I'm never going to use ever again, apparently the decision was there may be a time in my life when I decide I am going to use alcohol and pot again. That was the decision that was actually made back then. But I could only see that in retrospect from now. I make decisions all the time that I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. Some of them come to pass. Those were decisions. The other ones that didn't come to pass, they were decisions, but they weren't the decision that I had in mind at the time. So, we need some extra power even to make decisions. So, what's the step? We made a decision. What was this decision we made? The decision we made was to turn. Turning is the essential thing. When I was over here using, I was going that way. I was going even to more darkness and more despair and more bad stuff and less freedom. More and more all the time. At some point, I made a decision to turn. So I turned this way. And I went this way for about 18 months. And then I ran into my old friend Jim, and I had 3 drinks and shared a half a joint with him. At that point in time, I was turning the wrong way. I was headed the wrong way. And then after that, I decided, no, I'm going to go back. So I turned back, and I stayed clean and sober for a while more. And then I started drinking, and I turned again. And I went that way for quite a while before I figured out, oh, alcohol is destroying my life. So I turned, and I came back, and I got clean and sober for a while, and there was some pot there, but no alcohol. And then I turned again, and you get the idea. Finally, in 1993, I drank my last alcohol on January 26th. I smoked the last of my pot on February 14, 1993. And I wasn't really sure that I had made a decision in my mind to quit using forever. But boy, I had made a decision in my mind to quit using forever. But boy, I was going to try because my life was unmanageable. And the good thing was, after I got through a good step 2 with Harry's help in Philadelphia, I came to make this decision to turn. What did I turn? I turned over the care of my life to God. I turned my will and my life, 2 very important words, my will and my life over to the care of God as we understood Him. Now, before I get to this, the most important thing in the whole 12 steps, it's the only thing that's underlined. It's underlined twice, right here and right there. Step 3 and step 11. That's why I connect these two, because it's the only place where it says God as we understand Him. It's underlined twice. It's very important. I turned my will and my life over to Him because my life was a mess. If you have a crappy used car and somebody with a brand new car wants to trade you, why would you not? God, as we understand Him, has a life for us and a will for us because He cares for us. We're turning the care of our life over to God as we understand Him. He has a will for us. He has a plan for us. He has a path that He would like us to follow, because that's an extremely happy path. He's the one that created us. He's the one that knows exactly what will make us the happiest, to make our life worth living. So here our life was back here unmanageable. Why not trade that in for a life that's manageable, happy, joyous, and free? So, with all that said, God, as we understood Him, is underlying as the foundation for all of the steps. Now, somebody who's working step 3, I recommend they find somebody who's working step 11, because these people who are seeking through prayer and meditation to improve their conscious contact with God, those are the people who can help us make that decision every day to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand it. And I tie those together. For one reason, it helps us remember what these steps are. It helps us when we're doing step 10 and continuing to do these over and over again. But putting it in this form helped me to remember what these steps were, so that on any day and any moment I could bring it back to memory. But that's step 3. We made the decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we corporately understood Him. I'm going to say one more thing about that. Sometimes when people are completely on their own and they get revelations that they think are God, sometimes they go off a little bit. We all know the history of cults that have created bad things. The reason that I believe it's we understood Him is because when we're together and we talk about spiritual things, I'm less likely to go off the rails and create some cult that's all weird and screwed up. The first thing in the Judeo-Christian Bible that it says God made that was not good. You know, He made the heavens and the earth and it was good. He made light and it was good. He made the flowers and the horses and the cattle and man, and it was all good. The first thing that He made that was not good was man alone. Man alone is not good. Man together, with we understanding Him, with we working all the steps, all of us together, that's good. It can turn out to be good. So that's step 3. So that's the end of step 3. Don't stop there. Go on to step 4. And if you have any questions, you can find us on clearviewcenter.com under contacts.